relaxation teacher. So I'd like to talk to you about how you can control your emotions with the breath. So any feelings of anxiety, fear and worry can actually be soothed by the way that you breathe. And I know this sounds a bit crazy, so I'm going to just explain how this works, because if you're anything like me, I like to know a bit why what I'm doing works. So I'm sure a lot of you know that the nervous system is split into your two parts. You've got your nervous system, your fight and flight nervous system, which prepares you from kind of running away from danger or fighting danger. So think of your caveman brain basically, fighting a saber-toothed tiger or running away from the saber-toothed tiger. And then you've got your part of your nervous system, which is your relaxation response. So after you've either fought the tiger or run away from the tiger, your nervous system should be able to then settle. So then you can sit calmly, you can digest food and you can sleep. So the only body system, part of the nervous system complex that we can control is the breath. So the heart beats on its own, we sweat without thinking about it, we digest food without thinking about it, and we breathe without thinking about it. But we can breathe on command. So I bet you could breathe fast or slow if you wanted to. So this is the cool thing. The breath feeds back to the brain how the rest of the body is doing. So if you are breathing quite shallow breaths up into the chest and quite or rapid shallow breathing, this is basically telling your brain this body is stressed out. If your breathing is smooth and calm and deeper down towards where your diaphragm is, which is an inch or two above your belly button, then that is telling the brain this human is a happy human. They're pretty chilled. So we can influence the breath to then tell the brain this person is chilled out. And then what will happen? Your heart rate will reduce, your worry hormones, your stress hormones will reduce, and your happy, content hormones will increase. So that's the way it works in a nutshell. So I would like to share with you a couple of techniques so you can actually get in the driver's seat of your own nervous system. So the first technique I'm going to show you is just simply knowing your breathing. And this is the first step that the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. So I know you might be thinking, oh, Buddha, but this is practices that are 2,500 years old that modern science has only just been able to catch up with and say, yeah, they're right, it does work. So it's that first step of actually, okay, I'm breathing in and breathing out. So what you're going to do, the best technique to start with is to lay down flat either on the floor or carpet or on your bed. Just make sure that you're laying down flat, but you're going to have your knees bent and your feet flat, and that just helps you to feel a little bit into the breath. And you can take one hand onto your belly and you can take one hand onto your chest, and by all means you can do this seated if you want to. Just make sure your back is away from the back of the chair and your feet are on the floor. We want the diaphragm to be able to move, so if you're scrunched up on a chair, that's not going to happen. So once you find a place that feels comfortable, somewhere that you're going to be relaxed, you can close the eyes if that feels comfortable to do so. You can just allow the eyes to close, and what this does is just begins to allow you to focus a little bit more inwards. And then with the breathing practices of mindfulness, we breathe in and out of the nose. Breathing in and out of the nose is considered to be the best because the air is gently warmed on the way into the body. It's filtered, it's slower, and it encourages more air into the bottom part of your lungs, which is where we're wanting to go. But by all means, if a cold or hay fever is preventing you from breathing through your nose, then breathe through the mouth, that's fine. So the first thing I'm just going to encourage you to think about is your smooth breath in and a smooth breath out. And just keep on noticing where you might be feeling the breath. Maybe it feels as though it's just in the chest, or maybe it feels as though it's lower down. You can move your hands as well and notice that if there's anywhere else you might be feeling it, maybe more onto the ribs. You might feel as though the breath is kind of short and shallow, maybe a bit rough, or it may feel really smooth and silky. And the really important thing is to remember is to do this practice with no judgment. There's no right or wrong to what you find. You're simply beginning to notice that you're breathing. And this is the first step of taking control. And then you might be able to notice a cool breeze at the nostrils as you breathe in. And slightly warmer air as you breathe out. You might even be able to notice the sound of the breath. Almost sounds like a distant ocean. And you may begin to notice, after spending a few moments here, that you begin to relax a little bit more and the breath becomes a little bit smoother. This is a practice, and it doesn't matter how it feels, or even if it feels frustrating, you're still practicing, which is amazing. So then let's leave our practice there. You can just allow the eyes to open. So that's going to be the first step before we do other breath techniques. And you can set a timer on your phone. There's an amazing timer called Insight Timer, and it's free. And it's got different, you can manually put in different times. So I would recommend maybe start with 1 to 3 minutes. I mean, 3 minutes can feel like a long time just focusing on the breath. So just start with a really small amount of time and try to do that a couple of times a day. See how you feel. And then when you're ready, you can then do some more techniques, which I'll show you. I hope you found that helpful.